about comedy or game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me, as always, is Ben Slinger.
Hello, Trevor.
Hello.
How goes it?
It goes pretty well. We haven't recorded like this for a little while.
Yeah, we're back on opposite sides of a screen as opposed to being in person. I went to the city today, and I thought I'm going to be rather tired if I go out and... No, that's all right. It might mean that tonight is not quite as wild as it's occasionally been the last few episodes. So, but one thing it does mean we can do, which we haven't done in a while, is we can do some click movies. I don't do we ever have a name for this segment?
No, it's just...
Random movies. Yeah.
Random movies.
So this is where we
movie-based games.
We have a random movie generator in front of us. And on the count of 3, 2, 1, movie, we're going to...
Yep.
One of us... Well, no, we're each going to get a movie.
We are each going to get a movie. We may mash them together. We may just choose one.
Exactly. And we're going to use... It may be that we think of what the video game adaptation of that movie would be, or we might just take the title or premise and make a brand new story and video game from it without relation to the actual movie itself. Just a jumping off point.
Yep.
So let's do it. 3, 2, 1 movie.
3, 2, 1 movie.
I have Disenchanted.
Malcolm X.
Okay.
I mean, if you're looking for two sides of a spectrum, one being infrared, one being ultraviolet, Malcolm X is, the opposite of Disenchanted.
I'm not sure how well, we'd go about mashing them up. If I knew a bit more about Malcolm X and the history there, and is that like the Black Panthers and stuff? I don't know. But we could take something from the title, or we could ignore
how
it
about let's
and just do Disenchanted.
Go Disenchanted.
Okay. Cool. So, I mean, for those who are in the know, it's the sequel to Enchanted, which was a Disney, animated / live action film. I think we just maybe take the title though. We could maybe take the idea of going into a different world like that. That could be interesting. Or like the cross. Maybe this is the opportunity to do a Toonstruck style live action and animated game.
Only on one condition.
Yeah.
It's got Christopher Lloyd in it.
Definitely. Definitely. But he's a voice of an animated character. He's not the live action one.
He's not the live action one this time.
Yeah.
I quite like that. I do like the idea of it being a sequel to a game that hasn't come out.
Okay. So it's like a pre-sequel.
Well, it's a sequel. They reference everything that happened in the first game.
Yeah.
It's just it never came out. It's kind of like the Star Wars of adventure games.
It's kind of like the Leisure Suit Larry 5.
Yeah. Where they reference Leisure Suit Larry 4, the lost
floppies or the missing floppies, yeah.
So I like that. Okay, cool.
Okay, so who plays our live action? It's funny actually because the same way that Toonstruck did it, having a live action character in a video game is a weird sort of feat in and of itself, because having any sort of full motion video or whatever in there is still, seems out of place and a bit weird. Obviously, it could be better these days. I guess we do have the option of not doing full motion video.
No, fuck that. Full motion video.
You reckon full motion video? All right.
Yeah. I mean, how else are we going to get in front of Justin McElroy?
Yeah, true. We need to get it. I'm sure he'll bring back his FMV review or whatever it was for our game.
Yeah.
100%. Maybe we can get Justin. Maybe Justin is the character. Maybe it's Justin McElroy playing the live action character.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay. I like it. I reckon he'd be down for it.
His brothers have been captured and turned into cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all effectively cartoon characters anyway.
Yeah. And, okay, so Christopher Lloyd plays...
The villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
very much a Judge Doom.
Yeah. This is the
but
thing.
He's the cartoon version. Like,
yeah, it's not the same
cool.
character. It's, we're not taking it in the exact same toon world. I think, I don't know, is there even a different sort of style or a different way we can think about animated characters that's not the kind of typical Looney Tunes, Disney-esque sort of thing?
Pixar style animation, as in 3D, and they used that new technology that was used in Seventh Guest VR with the live motion capture. Okay. So you got some live people in 3D who are somewhat interacting with a Pixar-y world.
Is it a VR game then, or we just use that same sort of tech to make them in a 3D?
It's more about the same sort of tech, and it feels like they're actually in the space as a real person, but
it's essentially FMV projected onto some sort of 3D geometry in the world. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it really worked well in 7th Guest VR, so I'm thinking that would actually work quite well for the new style of FMV game.
Yeah. Well, and then I like the idea of them going into a Pixar-esque animated world, since that is also the modern, animation.
Yeah, definitely. And it does, I mean, we say Pixar, but it can be, just
3D animated.
3D animated. It could even be something similar to Journey to the Savage Planet that had really good cartoony animations and all that sort of stuff. For all the monsters and different things. I do like the idea of, in the first game, what happened is, like, one of these toon monster things came out and was doing stuff in the real world.
Right.
And in the sequel, it's
the opposite. Okay.
It's the opposite.
Okay, so...
and the reason why we're not doing...
didn't
do the first one is because the technology for realness doesn't exist yet, just like the technology for the Clone Wars didn't exist in 1977.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'd be pretty hard to make a game set in the real world with one animated element. Although you could start doing that with AR now, actually. But maybe we do that. Maybe in the same way, it's we do episode 1 later
when the technology's caught up.
Is this a story about the McElroy brothers? Or is it just that we have Justin McElroy playing a character and it's a completely different setting? Because I could see it go both ways.
I can definitely see it go both ways. I mean, there's nothing that I'd love more than for him to interact with characters played by his brothers.
Yeah, or himself.
Like
he comes across Count Donut. And what's the fucking perfume guy? I can't remember the name. Yeah, I mean, that could be a fun McElroy themed game.
Yeah.
So in episode 1, what they always reference is that one of these cartoon creatures, did they accidentally summon it in like an Adventure Zone episode or something? They like opened a portal to the cartoon world.
Okay, so the opening of the original game was literally a filmed version, or even a stage version of the Adventure Zone Live, and at the end of the first break, or what however they do it. I can't remember. I haven't seen a live thing in a long time if they do an intermission. But either way, they have some pyrotechnics that go off.
Yep.
And Clint is no longer there, and it's being replaced by a
cartoon,
fuzzy cartoon monster.
Yep.
Voiced by Clint. Yeah.
They just happen to, except it's his Merle voice.
So anyway, in the sequel,
the game we're actually doing,
He's now being transported because of what happened at the end of the first game.
Yep.
It was amazing. They don't talk too much about it.
No,
but it was
they got Clint back. They, got the cartoon, all the cartoon monsters back through the portal.
But Justin got sucked in. And
yes,
he's now in
That's
this.
the cliffhanger from the last one. Yeah.
Yes. He's now in this magical world, and they're trying to work out how to get out.
Yeah.
They keep referencing, these amazing adventures, but don't go into many specifics.
No, we don't want to ruin those who haven't played the first game since it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they just allude to the fact that Justin, got sucked through into the portal. Like they don't even show that happening. It's just,
oh yeah, no, you start and
it says, there's a big crawl that says, 6 months after the incident.
it's got an epic orchestral version of Montaigne's song going in the background, instrumental.
And it's like a Star Wars crawl, except it's coming down from the top for some reason.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
You got to read it backwards.
Actually, it goes across sideways in the style of Griffin's thing in the TV show.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. It's just a big LED board thing, and it's just you're reading it one word at a time.
Oh, I hope our listeners like my brother and me. I like the idea that Justin. I don't know if it's that time goes different or it's taken this long, but like the game opens and Justin's been there for like 18 months. He's like,
I said 6, but 18 months is even better.
Oh, right. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you meant like, I guess you did say 6, but I think he's started to make a life for himself there. Like he's basically given up hope that anyone's gonna come and find him. But then something happens and like Travis manages to send something through or send a message somehow that gets him going again to kind of try to find his way out.
I think what also happens is the villain of the piece is seen to be pulling strings behind the curtain, as it were, and kind of almost like a Monkey Island sort of thing where you keep on cutting back to, this villain's fortress and you see the different things. I like the idea of, yes and no, whether Justin is able to actually see that in glimpses. Like,
right.
Oh my God, I feel like
I've just cut away for a moment. What am I, in Family Guy? I think it's the villain's name is the Rigger because he like has control over the 3D models of the other characters.
Yeah, and I think that's where, the game starts, but then the game is very much a 3D point and click adventure game.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like, I mean, you can do some moving camera stuff then if you've got this 3D tech from Seventh Guest. So you can be a little bit more cinematic about things. And, Justin's going to put in a good performance. Mm-hmm. Get some nice voice acting in there.
Yeah. And I think just having sort of, I would love full 3D worlds, kind of similar to what back in the day, Gabriel Knight 3 tried to do, which is where you control the camera and you can sort of fly around and select what you want to actually do within the world and that sort of thing. But I think it could be done better now than what they could do back then.
Oh, I mean, without any doubt, yeah. They were all the time. But we will still have a puzzle where you have to make a mustache from like putting glue on a fence or whatever and have a cat go through it or whatever that fucking puzzle was.
The fucking tape in the cupboard and all that sort of bullshit, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that game was just
ahead of its time.
Gabriel Knight was good, but like, I can't believe what they did to the first game. Like the first game is the only one that actually really made sense. 3-1 movie.
Yeah.
Underworld.
Princess Protection Program. I'll give the synopsis of this one, because we might want to use some of it. When her nation is invaded, a young princess is taken into the Princess Protection Program. A lot of P's in that. She's relocated to Louisiana, where she stays with a covert agent and his tomboyish daughter and must learn how to behave like an ordinary teenager.
I kind of like that, but this is set in
but she's a vampire or a werewolf.
Well, I was thinking it's Underworld. You know, it's sort of like you've got that seedy sort of element. Like,
yeah, so Underworld, if I
doesn't have to be vampires and werewolves. It can literally just be.
Well, I mean, a big part of that. So you're not saying take the actual movie side of Underworld, just the idea of the Underworld.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this like some like crime lord's daughter or something then that's been put into protection and has to live like a non-criminal? Or vice versa.
Exactly. Now has to live as per royalty, and she's tested all the time by, you know, having lots of mattresses and having a pee under it. And if she can feel it all the way through, then she's a princess.
I mean,
and they test her each night. Like,
I think there's enough peas in the title.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of like this idea. What I see this as sort of maybe more of a Skyrim styled RPG.
Oh, okay. I was going to go in a very different direction, to like a 2D side scroller platformer, because I feel like the story is pretty light on the ground. But we could go deep. We could go deep and go RPG.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a 2D side-scrolling platformer RPG.
where you're traveling through dungeons and then you get to the overworld and you can sort of, you know, every time that you find an entrance to the underworld, like you find out a little bit more. You find some of the magical princess like gear that you can, you know, Metroidvania style, like gives you access to new sections within those previous, you
go back through
underworld sections that you've gone through.
Yeah,
a lot of backtracking.
Okay, how can we bring in the princess elements? So sorry, let me get the story straight. You're the daughter of a crime boss.
Yep.
Who has somehow been taken to be a princess.
Yes.
Okay. How, like, is that because you're in essentially witness protection to, like, testify against your father or something?
Yeah. And as part of this princess protection program.
Right. It's like they'll never think to find you as a member of the royal family.
Yeah.
Of some country, like.
I think it's kind of like a Princess and the Pauper sort of thing where, you know, this, you happen to look very similar to. To this royal blood.
There are definitely teen movies like that.
Yeah. So you were selected for this program, but the only way that you can actually become a princess is if you've got all the 7 magical items that you know make you a princess.
Yeah,
i.e., the grappling hook and the and the double jump.
Everybody knows you can't be a princess without a double jump. You need the big fluffy dress like Princess Peach to float down from things, or the umbrella.
Or the umbrella, either way.
Glide.
Like you can, you do both. It's double glide.
Yeah,
like you can glide
not only
slower.
double jump, but double glide. All right, I love it. I think that's enough said. Honestly, princess with a double jump. What else do you need?
That's how you know that you're a princess.
Yeah,
if you can double jump. Yeah, then
everyone go out and try it. It's how you'll know you're the chosen lost royal princess. 3-2-1 movie.
Okay, let's not go with that one.
True romance.
Ooh, okay. Gambit.
Okay.
An art curator decides to seek revenge on his abusive boss by conning him into buying a fake Monet.
Oh, so not the X-Man.
But his plan requires the help of an eccentric and unpredictable Texas rodeo queen.
Okay. I thought it was going to be the X-Man.
Mm-hmm.
We did just have one about Louisiana.
Yep.
Okay, True Romance Gambit. I mean, this could just be, just from the titles, it could be kind of like a fun, like, con artist sort of movie movie / game idea, story.
Yep. Kind of a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. Yeah, where there's like
mismatched pair where they fall in love and then they go around conning people.
Yeah, and maybe you sort of find out that their relationship started when like he was trying to con her or something, but then they decided to team up, and at first it was, they didn't like each other, and then they fall in love, and now and by the end of it they are this amazing con artist team, and they're teaching their kids how to con.
True romance.
How to grift. True griftmance. Okay, so how does this play out then?
Ooh, I think you are running a con, as in you get all these other things that sort of hint at, you get little bits and pieces as to I remember when you did this to me, and then you have a bit of a flashback sort of thing.
Okay, weird idea. Well, I mean, not totally weird, but it might not work. Could this be like a bit of a card game, like a collectible card game in a sense, where you're sort of playing, you're keeping some cards close to your chest.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about the information and stuff. But to convince someone, you're like playing information that you know about them that you've gotten from somewhere. And so it could be so it's not a full on like Slay the Spire sort of thing or anything like that. It's more about, it's almost just a representation of your knowledge and your ability to fool people.
Okay.
But you can sort of gamify it a little bit by like powering up the cards in some way by talking to more people about it or by gathering the information in different ways.
I kind of like that idea rather than it being like a deck builder where you actually.
Yeah, I think that's too.
It's more of a random. It's more of a random sort of, kind of like what was that? What was that spell? Like that wizard fighting game that you had to build up the spells and all that sort of stuff.
The board game.
Really, yeah, the board game.
Yeah, epic spell wizards of the something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of, there's different things that you can use to enhance your con, but it's all just random stuff that you've picked up. You pick up 3 things from the enhancements, and
that's cool. I do like that idea, and taking from that almost that you have to have like, you choose a starting point, and then you can choose like the turn or something, and then you choose the prestige or the reveal, or whatever it is. That's cool. Yeah, I certainly wasn't going for the true deck builder because I think that's too systematic for what is more of a story-based game. But I do I like the idea of it just as a representation of, your knowledge and your skill, and building these different card combinations.
Yeah, in the planning stage, you're almost going, this is what it's going to be. This is what, where we go next. And this is the reason why we're doing it. And then this is our ultimate goal. And then you get to play out that scenario.
Yeah.
And
and then that could add some random elements in and stuff, and some choices on how you play out, on how those play out in the conversation choices.
Again, I can see this as a perfect opportunity for storylets, which is one of our favorite things. Because,
maybe.
It can literally be, have you done this before? This story can come up because of, this card has been played.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And it almost adds another layer to it then, where each card is almost a piece of a storylet. You're almost constructing storylets from smaller atomic pieces.
Yep.
Constructing your own storylets. And so it's like, okay, these are the cards I've got available to me, and those are only available to you because of the previous stories you've played, and then you plan out your beginning, middle, and end. That's
but
cool,
also
yeah.
they can feed into, again, like, because you've conned someone in the last town, like they may now, because of that storylet and because you've now got this type of con that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
They happen to have a family member in this town that comes in and
it may limit your options then as well. Like, if you've done this type of con and it ended badly, you can't start that type of con here again, or you have to like play a storylet essentially, or build a storylet that ends up with you changing your look or changing your name, or like becoming more incognito and less known in that area or something.
Mm.
Oh, I like that. I really feel like you and me need to build some sort of like systemized
game using
story. Yeah, like some sort of systemized story game where we use storylets of some sort to really actually feel out how these would play, how they would play out. Because in our heads, it definitely feels like it's just such a natural thing to be able to have these what end up being infinitely branching stories then. But then, like, I feel like someone must have... Why hasn't anyone done it then if it's that easy? I'm not saying it would be easy to build.
I can't wait for Dead Static Drive because they've got storylets.
Right, yeah, they've used that, yes. Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes.
I think that's finally due out this year, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I don't know when this year. It's going to be sometime.
It's going to be on Game Pass. Cool.
Talking about it. Let's go with one quick one, yeah. Kind of similar to how we've done each of these ones. I reckon we just take the name and we mash them together. And
sure. Yeah.
So you go first.
Okay. Wild Target.
The Express.
Okay.
So I see the Express as sort of like a train sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Is this an on-rails shooter?
Yep. Wild Target sort of says to me jungle.
Interesting.
Wild.
Oh, I see. Wild.
Yep.
Okay.
An on-the-rail shooter train in a jungle. Actually, that's something that I've never sort of heard of before, and I kind of like.
Yeah, so like a Time Crisis style shooter sort of thing. Are you shooting animals then? Who are the bad guys? Or is it a hunting game?
I think this train has been overrun by, kind of similar to Bullet Train or something like that. Like it's.
I was picturing you shooting out the windows of the train, but yeah, I guess it makes sense to be going through the train as well.
Yeah, while it's traveling through the jungle, and you're looking at and you're seeing,
branches of big, huge trees going past, and it goes over a massive bridge over a river, and yeah, that's cool. How can we bring in some interesting elements to what has Time Crisis not done that we could bring in? I feel like it's got to be VR because this sort of shooter just works so well in VR.
Although there haven't been many that have done it, like
not in this style, not in the kind of on rails forwarding the story just and you do the shooting sort of thing. Yeah,
I don't understand why they haven't, but I suppose there is a reason as to maybe they just don't like the movement mechanics in between.
But even then, you could still like teleport between specific locations or something. I think there have been some that do that sort of thing.
I know we've talked about one before that, it's sort of like a virtual cop, Time Crisis. Time Crisis sort of thing. The only problem is you have to physically hide behind the things, that's...
Yeah, but I think that I think that's good. It becomes one of the, it becomes a game that people do for exercise, to exercise their core.
And it's like, oh my God, I can only go up and down. But that's why we also have some poles.
Well, that's it. I think you'd actually, rather than Time Crisis where you're ducking up and down mostly, I think you'd actually mostly do side to side cover.
Looking around the back of my
yeah, looking around corners and stuff, and have those great. Which Time Crisis was it? Or no, I think it was. It had a slightly different name, but it had really cool like destruction mechanics and stuff on all of the scenery.
That's kind of cool.
I'd love to see that in a VR game. Matrix style as well. Just plaster shattering around you as you're hiding behind a thing, and then you duck out and take shots.
Well, that's kind of fun.
Cool.
I think I can see that working really quite well. Let's call it. The show's dead. Time of death. 30 minutes odd. 34:46.
Well, minus a little bit we cut out. Cool. Well, if you'd like to find the rest of our episodes online, go to podchaser.com/bitstorm and check them out.
If you like the song that we play in the start of each episode, that song is called Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And I kind of wanted to watch this Wild Target. It has Emily Blunt and Rupert Grint.
Oh, wow.
In 2010.